I think we have a thumbnail. What's up, everybody? Kier Gomes here, and welcome back. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about a deck of cards that is recent to hit the market, however, still highly anticipated and by a brand that I absolutely adore. If you couldn't tell by the thumbnail and the title of this video, today we're taking a look at the new Slicers playing cards by the Organic Playing Card Company. Now, as some of you know, I do have a little bit of a relationship with Organic Playing Cards in that we've worked together in the past on some reviews. I review every single deck that they come out with. I buy every single deck that they come out with. I'm a huge fan. Not only do I really appreciate the simplicity of their designs, but I also really appreciate the creativity that goes into creating each deck. And I mean everything from the tuck case to the faces of the cards, even the half brick boxes that they come out with. I mean, these guys are super clever and I really admire them. But as well, Nate and Cam are two people that I look up to in terms of everything. I mean, these guys hustle to bring you guys quality decks of cards often. Very humble guys, and as well, I think that their humble approach to the community makes them so likable. So, Nate and Cam, if you guys are watching this, you guys keep doing you. I love you guys. All right, so I know you guys want to check out the cards, so let's get into it. But before we do, please don't forget to drop a like on this video, and I hope you'll consider subscribing if you haven't already. And without further ado, let's roll that intro and get you guys on your way.
Let's go.
All right, so the Slicers deck. This is technically the 6th installment of the Organic Playing Cards line. If you're not familiar, the first deck was the Peelers deck. Then there was the Squeezers deck, which featured oranges. Then there was the Peelers V2 deck, the Snackers deck featuring strawberries. This past summer, there was the Squeezers V2 in collaboration with Alex's Lemonade Stand. And that brings us to here, the 6th deck, the Slicers, featuring apples. The tuck case is meant to look like a picnic basket. You can see it has a very kind of vintage crate feel. Printed on the front, but made to look like it was embossed, is the Organic Orchard emblem. It says since 2017, it features an apple. You can also see that folded up top is a picnic tablecloth or a picnic napkin. Very consistent with the theme of this deck, as all of their tech boxes are. There's nothing but wood panel printing on each side. The bottom has some OPC ad copy. And the top bleeding into the back, sides, and front is again that picnic basket tablecloth. As well, we have a little friend on the back. It's a worm coming out of the crate. I really like that, kind of similar to the spider web that you see on the Peelers V1. I just enjoy those little Easter eggs. Inside the tongue flaps is more of that plaid tablecloth pattern. And that is pretty much it for the box, so let's do this. Ooh, yes. All right, now here is your back design. The back design features a very bright and vibrant reddish pink, very similar to the Fontaine watermelons, with a nice bright green apple mirrored on either side. There is a difference in hue on the Peelers V2 and the Slicers. However, the two are similar, but the Peelers V2 is just a little bit more faded and pink, whereas the Slicers is a little bit more vibrant and red. Now, I really like this back design. The color scheme is interesting because when I first saw it, it kind of got that apples to apples feel, and I'm sure a lot of you did too. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just thought it was a very interesting and very brave and bold color statement to do, especially considering that in the past, their decks have been a little bit more subtle and faded colors. These are two very bright colors. Look at that, even from back here. Woo. But I really like it, and I hope you do as well. I love the way that when you fan them, you can see just that bright red popping out. It's a horrible fan, but my hands are sweaty. Ooh. Your power ace is the Ace of Spades. As per usual, the only time that you don't see the power ace not be the Ace of Spades on an OPC deck was on the, I believe, Snackers deck. It was the Ace of Hearts. Classic and clever OPC etiquette. You can see the Ace of Spades is significant to the fruit that is represented on the back design of the cards. It is an apple tree, and it says Slicers just below it in red cursive. You get your jokers, classic OPC jokers. You can see it says Joker in each corner with a red J. As well, you see an image of a green apple, which can also be found on the back design of the cards. I, for one, do love minimalistic jokers. I think especially if you have a minimalistic deck, it looks really fitting. It matches a theme that goes throughout the whole deck. Whereas if you have like a super simple casino style back design and then a super elaborate joker, it might still be beautiful, but it may not match a specific type of motif for the deck. And I think that here it's represented really, really well. And as well, you get 2 Gaff cards. You get a duplicate 7 of clubs, which has been done before in the OPC lineup. Always useful. I love that even for a cardistry deck, Nate and Cam are putting thought into it for magicians, because a duplicate card has really no use for cardistry, but a ton of use if you're a magician. And I am a magician, and this is my channel, so there you go. And of course, the blank card you can use as a cut card if you're dealing at poker, but also you can use it for a number of magic effects. For example, you'll see this used a lot for a card printing routine where the deck is blank, and then you can produce a card. There you go. All right, now there is kind of a lot to get to in terms of the faces, so let's take a quick look at your faces and court cards. On the faces, the spades and clubs have been swapped from black to a nice olive green color, very similar to the back design color of the Squeezers V1. I think it looks really good and it fits the theme of this deck very nicely. Your hearts and diamonds are basically standard. You can see that they have kept the red color. It's not the exact same color as the back design of the cards. It's a little bit more red and a little bit less pink, and I think that it looks fantastic. As well, you'll notice that the pips on the OPC decks are always just a bit smaller than you would find them on a bicycle deck. You'll notice subtle customizations on the court cards, mostly in terms of the color and some of the expressions and props that the face cards are holding. For example, the Queen of Spades is holding an apple pie. The King of Hearts is holding a chewed apple core. Jack of Clubs is holding a bag of apple seeds. The Queen of Clubs has a caramel apple. The Queen of Diamonds has a basket of apples. The King of Clubs is holding an axe, presumably to chop down an apple tree. Looks like the Jack of Hearts is holding an apple jam. The Jack of Diamonds is holding an apple peeler. King of Diamonds is eating an apple. Jack of Spades is eating a full apple. King of Spades is wielding a gallon of apple cider. And the Queen of Hearts can be seen also chewing an apple. You know, even if you wanted to make the argument that this is a simple deck, one, the amount of effort that it must take to keep coming up with clever color schemes, and as well keep trying to incorporate different types of fruit into your face cards and your tuck boxes. Nobody could ever tell me that OPC does not bring the heat when it comes to design. Even if it's something simple, the theme that they follow is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. When you create a theme where your tuck box looks like a picnic basket or a basket of apples, you have an ace of spades that's shaped exactly like an apple tree, and then you design the court cards to all have something to do. You had to come up with 12 different things that involve apples for the sake of this deck. And to me, that's just inspiring. I mean, that amount of creativity, if you think it doesn't take a long time to produce a deck that is simple, these guys are living proof that a lot of work goes into even the most simple on the surface designs. And that's pretty much all I can say about the way this deck looks, but let's switch angles and talk about how it handles. These cards were printed on premium casino grade B stock, whatever you want to call it. It is officially called premium stock by the United States Playing Card Company. It's the same thickness as pretty much all of the organic playing card decks, minus the Peelers V1, which I believe was crushed, and the Squeezers V1, which was also crushed. But the more recent OPC decks are not crushed, so you can see it's a pretty thick deck. Nice and snappy, however, they are not stiff. They came out of the box pretty easy to spring. Ultimately just feeling really, really good. This is actually the same stock that the Slow Hands deck is going to be printed on. And when it comes to the United States Playing Card Company, this is, in my opinion, one of the best card stocks available because it lasts you a long time. The cards are nice and thick. They have a good weight to them, but they're also not stiff. They're very snappy and springy. Here's that new dribble sound. Ooh, yes, one more time. Love it. The cards look really nice in fans. That kind of bright red color really, really pops out with those white borders. It's not something that you see every day. So the contrast of this deck, especially for things like card flourishes, is gonna look really, really good. Here's what the cards look like if you fan them for the indices. Really nice. I think that looks great. I love the green and red together. It looks so good. Let's see how the cards faro. Definitely looks like they go best from top to bottom. The cards spread very evenly. I would say that other than the other OPC decks, if I had to compare this card stock to another deck that you might own, I would say that this feels very much like the Zone playing cards, the V1, or maybe even like the Madison Rounders. I would say if you like the feel of the Rounders, you're definitely gonna like the feel of this deck. Very satisfying to shuffle, I love that. Let's check the snappiness. Ooh, damn. These cards are definitely snappy. You can definitely hear it. I love that. Ooh, that's so nice. In terms of how the cards look in flourishes, I really think, again, that color, it pops so much that it's hard not to enjoy the look of even basic flourishes like what I do. I think overall it's just a very satisfying deck to flourish. In terms of the application for Magic, I mean, you definitely could use this deck for Magic. I don't think you'd have any problems. The only thing that prevent me from performing Magic with this deck, especially if it's a paid gig or something, would just be the green pips. I think that's really the only thing that would make this deck substandard for Magic. However, the intended purpose is cardistry, but also because of the awesome work with the pips, I definitely don't think that that you'd have any issues performing with it. Now, I will put in a B-roll sequence, just a short one at the end of this video, so if you want to see more about the handling of this deck, or if you just want to see it used a little bit more, that'll be at the end of the video for you to check out. And there you go. Well guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode and my review of the Slicers playing cards by Organic Playing Cards. If you're interested in picking up this deck for yourself, I believe it is still available at the new Organic Playing Cards website. I'll link all that down below. I think it's still available, but if it isn't, you are bound to see this again on many third-party retailer sites. They love Organic Playing Cards, all of them. I think we have a thumbnail. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me today. However, stay tuned because tomorrow I'm bringing you some of that hot fire. We're gonna be premiering the designer spotlight episode that I did for Luke Wadey tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that because it is gonna be awesome. Hopefully that's enough to get you to like this video if you did, and I hope you'll consider subscribing for more awesome content just like this one. All that being said, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. I know I will. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.